started.
Oh, El Jubilado again. Let's try d4. Played e4 last time. I am not going to play the Black Mardimer Gambit. So he plays the Albin counter-gambit. Okie doke. So I just play, I think this is the main line against the Albin counter-gambit. You develop your knight to put some pressure on the pawn, and you develop your bishop to g2 rather than trying to get in this move e3 and undermine the pawn. He gets this pawn back, but you know, he started out a pawn down, so I think this is okay. Yeah, I can try and do that. Let's see. I want to force the issue here. I don't want to leave that. Maybe I should have played knight to d2 first, so I could take back with the knight, not waste a tempo like this. Yeah, there are probably better ways to play that. So you can grab another pawn here. Oh, man. Well, at least he's stopping to think about it. Yeah, so the way I played that was all wrong. I needed to play knight d2 before playing h3. So he's sort of forgiving me, letting me get this move in anyway. How do I want to defend this c-pawn? I don't want to just give it up. He's preparing to castle queenside. Maybe I will solidly defend it with the move b3. Looks like he's not going to quickly get anything on this diagonal, so I'll have time to get a piece out here. And the bishop can now go to b2 or to a3. b2 looks good. And yeah, so since he didn't grab the c-pawn, we remain materially even. Okay, he's just going for the attack here. h5 to h4. I'm going to play g4. He can sacrifice the knight there. Pawn takes, queen takes. And then he's already threatening pawn to h3, winning the bishop. So let's bring the knight over. Help defend against that h5 to h4 idea. So he puts another piece on there. Let's see, if I try something clever like bishop to g4, he can take my knight with check and then take the bishop, bishop g5. So I can't do that. I could play h4 myself. And he's got knight to g4, not very attractive. Okay, let's directly develop the bishop here. Instead of putting it on b2, which might be desirable in the long run, we're just putting immediate pressure on this knight here. See how he wants to defend it. With a pawn. So knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, or knight takes, pawn takes. Hard to say. Let's see. So if I play e3 here to get this pawn, I can take, I'll take back with the bishop. He takes queen, I take, he takes, I take. So that all comes out even. He can try and trap the bishop. Whenever you play a move like e3, you're cutting off the retreat square of your bishop. So he can play g5. So e3, g5, bishop takes knight. And then pawn takes, maybe. And I can take here. I think I need to do something. It is sort of cramping my position to have this advanced pawn here, and you need to eventually get rid of it. So let's see how he does. Yeah, he forces the issue, so that seems like the only move. Might as well play it. And now he can take back with the knight or the pawn. Yeah, he takes with the pawn. So now I was thinking I take here. He could have considered pushing, I guess. Driving my knight back, but I don't know if that helps. Okay, can I blockade that pawn in any way? Probably not. For example, queen d3, he's got knight to b4. So I was thinking maybe knight to yeah, I guess that's not going to be so great now. Okay, if I don't take, let's see. Well, knight here hits the queen. He takes. I take with the rook. Then he takes the pawn. He's just winning a pawn over there. But I can move the bishop then. The bishop could go to f3 maybe. Let's see, are there other ideas here? I didn't like knight to h4 because bishop takes, pawn takes, and this is kind of opening up here. I want to keep this as closed as possible. See, are there tricks with exchange sacrifices? Probably not. Okay, so this is my idea. Knight here. Hitting his queen, so this provokes an exchange. And then he can grab a pawn. And I'll put my bishop on some square. Oh, he didn't do that. Aha. So he's hitting the bishop. I mean, he's hitting my rook with his bishop. So I can play here hitting his queen. Where's the queen going? And take the rook, and then take the pawn. It'd be nice to get my queen on this diagonal and then deliver a checkmate on on b7 there, but I don't see it. So I think that's the most natural move there. Keeping the rook active. And now I have the chance to close the king side, because this goes with check.
Check.
And here. But he's got this passed pawn now. This is maybe a problem. A problem pawn for me. So if he just pushes it immediately, it doesn't allow me time to try and blockade it. That's probably good for white. They're good for black. So he didn't do that. So I thought getting my queen on a light square is important because he's got a dark squared bishop, so he can't easily chase the queen off of that square. He can come in here with his queen, of course. So let's line up here. This may end up kind of drawish because of the opposite colored bishops. Depends on if everything gets traded out here. You know, I can't really advance this pawn. I mean, he can't really advance this pawn now, but I can't ever really take it as long as it's protected by his bishop. So what can I play? Actually, I'm not getting threatened with anything immediate right now, so I have a chance to pause and think, what should I play? You know, it'd be better to blockade with the bishop rather than the queen. So if it's safe, maybe I'll try and get the bishop and the queen to change places. It might not be safe. But maybe I can just drop the queen back to d2 and play bishop to d3. Secure that. There may be ideas of sacrificing his bishop over here for these pawns around my king, so I have to keep an eye out on that, but I don't see the follow-up just yet. You know, for example, he sacrifices here, I take back, and then he can push the G pawn forward, which if he had a pin on the F pawn, that might be awkward. Okay, so he's lining up that way. And drop back and play bishop to d3. He really owns the e-file here. I can never oppose that, or not easily. I guess if I could get a rook to e2, bishop d3, rook e2 would be a way to I'm not sure what his idea was there. Maybe he wants to come into f3. He does. Okay, queen to f3. Now if he sacrifices here and I take, and he pushes the pawn forward, maybe dangerous, huh? If I play rook here to e1, he trades and then takes my bishop. I can play queen here check and just go into this miserable endgame. Maybe I should do that. He's got too much pressure here. I can't ever play king to f1 to support my knight rook to e1. So check. This is a bad endgame for me. But maybe it's one I can draw because of the opposite colored bishops. We'll see. He gets one pawn immediately. Okay, he doesn't even bother to take it. It's still going to be there. I have one passed pawn. So I guess I have things I can do. Getting prepared to contest the e-file finally. Okay. Now let's put the bishop back there so the king can't penetrate easily. And let's push this pawn forward. I was in a position where my king couldn't move forward. The bishop and the pawn were covering all these squares, so I need to try and create a little bit of space for my king.
Check.
which he helped. He could have just sat on the position. Okay, so when he brings his bishop down like that, he is threatening perhaps to queen this pawn. So let's go over here. There, so that pawn can never take another step forward. And my king can even go to this square. I have to be a little bit tricky. His king can go there, but my king can go here. And so I'm still keeping his king blocked out. But there may be tempo moves I have to worry about, so let's see. I think I can just sit here with the bishop back and forth, and he can't ever drive me away. I can't ever attack his pawns either, unless he decides to let one of them go. If I penetrate with my king, his king can penetrate, and his pawn is more dangerous. So I'm trapped over here with my king. So I have no winning chances, but I don't think he can break through and win either. So I think this is a draw. We'll see. He goes there. Well, that's interesting. It takes one square away from my bishop. But if he goes one step forward, it gets tricky for him too. If he comes forward, I can push my pawn, and he's got to make sure he's got time to get his bishop around to stop me from queening. Okay, he's going to try and break through that way. I still can't do much. For example, I can't play my bishop to b7 to attack that pawn because because then his d pawn would start running. Okay, so it's just locking up now. I would offer him a draw, but he's got the extra pawn, so it's his prerogative to try and press on for a win if he wants to. I just don't think he can do it. So if he wants a draw, he can offer it. Or he could just repeat. It's another way to sort of implicitly offer a draw. Just repeat the same position. But he keeps trying different things, so as long as he's trying, he can play on.
Draw offered.
There we go. Okay. Well, good game.
Game drawn.
I will upload this and do a post-mortem. See you guys later.